This is Dangerous 30, a video series chronicling every detail in the construction of Michael Jackson's most ambitious musical triumph, Dangerous, honoring the 30th anniversary since its worldwide release. Aside from flexing his musical muscles, the King of Pop also wanted to touch the souls of listeners and express on the Dangerous album his sensitive side and what was in his heart. In the years since the release of Bad, Michael Jackson suffered the loss of several individuals he had been close to. One said loss that had a major impact on Jackson was that of AIDS activist Ryan White. Michael Jackson became friendly with the teenage hemophiliac after Ryan hit news headlines when trying to return to school after his diagnosis. Many parents and teachers in Howard County, Indiana, rallied against his attendance due to concerns of spreading the disease during a time when there was still a lot of misunderstanding and stigma surrounding HIV and AIDS. A lengthy administrative appeal process ensued, and news of the conflict turned Ryan into a popular celebrity and advocate for AIDS research and public education. Michael Jackson invited White to Neverland on several occasions and spent many hours speaking to Ryan on the phone, admiring his story that sought to teach the world empathy and compassion for a child with a deadly disease he contracted due to no fault of his own. White's mother, Jean, commented on their friendship. "It's a really good relationship. They have a good time. Michael Jackson treats Ryan White like he's not sick, and Ryan treats Michael like he's not a celebrity."
You know, I think people at first became friends with Ryan because they kind of felt sorry for him. And Michael was always so amazed. I think maybe that was the truth with Michael. But once you met Ryan, you didn't feel sorry for him. And Michael said, you know, Ryan never talked about his illness. And he said, you know, he never wanted anybody to feel sorry for him. So I think they really had this good communication of, respect for each other.
After Ryan White's death in April 1990, Jackson wanted to dedicate a song on the album to him.
3 days after Ryan's funeral, Michael called me and asked me how I was doing. And I said, Michael, what made you and Ryan so close? He said, you know, Jeannie, most people can't get over the all who I am, so nobody ever acts normal around me. He said, Ryan knew how I wanted to be treated because that's how he wanted to be treated. And he said, trust, Jeannie. I can't trust anyone because everybody always wants something from me. And then he says, Jeannie, I promised Ryan he could be in my next video. But now that he's gone, he said, I can't put him in my video, but could I do a video for him? And I was like, that's unbelievable. I mean, that you would do a video. Yeah. And he did the video called Gone Too Soon, which, that's a memory that will stay forever.
Contrary to popular belief, Gone Too Soon was not written by Michael Jackson, but the emotive ballad was in fact penned by Larry Grossman and Buzz Cohen. A song Dionne Warwick performed on a TV special in 1983 but never officially recorded. After seeing Warwick's performance, Jackson called Cohen explaining he had wept while watching the performance and that he felt he wanted to record it someday. Jackson's version was produced by himself and co-produced by Bruce Swedian. His falsetto floats over the warm arrangement of electric piano chords and elegant strings, born to amuse, to inspire, to delight, here one day, gone one night. Journalist David Brown, writing for Entertainment Weekly, claimed that the song recasts the equally melodramatic off-the-wall hit She's Out of My Life, noting that Jackson sobs during the finale of both songs.
I knew Michael and was working with him since he was 12, and I knew all the Jacksons. I have a note where he calls me his spiritual father. And I had written a song that he put on the Dangerous album, which was called Gone Too Soon. He was always a wonderful, remarkable performer.
The song was released on December 1st, 1993, on World AIDS Day. Michael Jackson performed the ballad at Bill Clinton's inauguration the same year, where he pleaded, "It is my hope, President-elect Clinton, that you and your administration commit the resources needed to eliminate this awful disease that took my friend and ended so many promising lives before their time." It was a bold and uncharacteristically political move for Jackson after years of public uproar over the previous administration's lack of interest in confronting the AIDS epidemic sweeping the nation, with former President Reagan not even mentioning the disease by name for many years. Although Michael Jackson hoped to spark emotive responses against injustice that will advocate change, the King of Pop was also aware of his global reach. his ability to cross languages and connect nations through his music. After co-writing We Are the World and releasing tracks like Man in the Mirror, Jackson sought to, once again, write a song that will unite the world and inspire global action to resolve the universal issues we face. The result being Heal the World, a beautifully understated anthem whose lyrics are steeped with an anti-war message and Jackson's wish for humanity to make the world a better place. Michael Jackson later said he wrote the song in his giving tree at Neverland Ranch and claimed that it was the song he was most proud of writing. Inspired by its message, Michael Jackson went on to create his own charitable foundation that was designed, at its core, to improve the lives of children around the world, naming the organization after his track, the Heal the World Foundation. In an effort to spearhead his new ambition, this time in philanthropy, the artist, who was already one of pop's most prolific patrons after donating millions to various causes, announced that he was to go on a world tour in order to raise a goal of $100 million for his new foundation. As a result, Michael Jackson performed to millions and spread his message of betterment for all, which became the centerpiece for the Dangerous World Tour. While traveling the world, Jackson visited disadvantaged children in orphanages and hospitals akin to images seen of Mother Teresa or Princess Diana rather than a rock star performer. Demonstrating Jackson's attempt to switch focus away from achieving more insurmountable musical accomplishments, but to in the future prioritize more far-reaching philanthropic pursuits. Released in November 1992, Heal the World became a top 5 hit all over the world, reaching number 2 in the UK singles chart in December 1992. Only being kept off from the number 1 spot by Whitney Houston's monster hit, I Will Always Love You. Michael Jackson even performed the song during his landmark Super Bowl halftime show. After his initial performance, which included a medley consisting of Jam, Billie Jean, and Black or White, the finale featured a 35,000-person flashcard performance. Later joining Jackson as he sang his single Heal the World, the King of Pop shared the stage with 3,500 children, many dressed in indigenous and national costume. As an inflatable globe emerged from the stage, the halftime show was a huge success, making the first time in Super Bowl history that ratings increased between halves during the game, with a whopping audience of 133.4 million tuning in to hear Michael Jackson's message for a brighter tomorrow. Not willing to end without leaving a lasting impact, the album wraps up with the menacing title track, Dangerous. A tale of seduction and deception warning against sexual sin. Teddy Riley returns to the producer's chair with a track that adds to the cast of dangerous women who populated many of Michael Jackson's songs, from Billie Jean to Dirty Diana. With this song, the album comes full circle. Dangerous was originally recorded in September 1990 with Bill Bottrell, but Jackson was not satisfied with its initial incarnation. When Teddy Riley came onto the project in early 1991, Jackson got him to work on the unfinished demo. Dangerous was about a woman who was just so beyond, beyond the best girl he's ever been with. Michael came in with the hook. I did the music, and then we finalized the song. There's no science to it. I just feel my way through the production, said Riley when asked about the track. Teddy Riley developed a mechanical New Jack beat, perhaps the heaviest of the collection, without sacrificing the gritty textures of Bottrell's original work. The lyrics warn the listener against allowing a seductive woman to lead you down the wrong path, which Jackson seems all too happy to do. But I loved it, 'cause it's dangerous. Upon the album's release, the track Dangerous was generally well received by music critics. Nelson George said of the song, "It is a pile-driving track that explodes from radio speakers." Dangerous, in fact, opens another window into Michael's artistic process. Writer Barry Farber noted that the same lyrics are an excellent representation of how sex can sometimes feel like a powerful biologically driven force. John Pareles, a writer for the New York Times, said he is a great dancer, yet his songs proclaim a terror of the body and of fleshy pleasures. It was originally planned that Dangerous would become the 10th single from the album, set for a January 1994 release with grand plans for an elaborate music video. However, the proposed release was scrapped after allegations were made against the singer in August and Michael Jackson's hospitalization in November 1993. However, although Dangerous wasn't chosen as a single, its live performances showcased the King of Pop's ingenuity in synchronized dance and solidified Michael's reputation as an era-defining performer for a new generation. Most notably, his 1993 American Music Awards performance was influenced by Judy Garland's song and dance number Get Happy from the 1950 movie musical Summer Stock, Jackson and his dancers wearing suits and fedoras as a nod to Garland's costume. The song was later added to the setlist during the final leg of Jackson's Dangerous World Tour. The second version of the song was performed at the 1995 MTV Music Awards and as a regular during the History World Tour. This version does not contain the second verse, bridge, or third speaking interlude, but instead has samples from Yes, owner of A Lonely Heart, The Good, The Bad, and The Ugly, Smooth Criminal, Let's Dance, Janet Jackson's You Want This, Monty Norman's James Bond theme, and Duran Duran's A View to a Kill. The concept and general plot originally considered for the music video for Dangerous was later adapted for Michael Jackson's 2001 video for You Rock My World. The film sees Jackson dressed in similar attire to that he would perform Dangerous in, attempt to gain the affections of a woman that ultimately causes a fight to break out between the artist and gang members in a bar. The dance performed during the video consists of fragments from the canceled Dangerous music video during what was ultimately the King of Pop's last appearance in the medium that he became a master of. After 30 years and 32 million albums sold worldwide, it's hard to comprehend the legacy that Michael Jackson's Dangerous has left behind, especially 12 years after the King of Pop's own sudden demise. His R&B rap fusions set the blueprint for years to come, while his industrial soundscapes and metallic beats were later popularized by artists as diverse as Nine Inch Nails and Lady Gaga. As one of the world's highest-selling records of all time, some consider Dangerous as Jackson's artistic peak, and the most groundbreaking record of its era, the very peak of his powers, with his widest-ever emotional range, free from genre and musical convention. Michael Jackson, fully formed and no longer content with being labeled the Peter Pan of pop, or the music industry's commercial darling, had a bold approach when recording Dangerous. A much sharper, riskier album than anything he had created before, Jackson was determined to hold up a mirror to the world to shame us for our dysfunction and the despair we accept around us. But at the same time, bring hope and clarity with his universal message. A spiritual and ideological cleanse that is just as relevant today as it was the day he first released it all those years ago.